In a matter of weeks, the biggest expansion ever to be released for Kingdom Death will start shipping. This is by far the most new content to be added to the game since it was originally released, almost 10 years ago. For my real-life gaming group and for this YouTube channel, this is likely to define the next 5 years of our Kingdom Death life. But it's been a while since we first heard the name, the Gambler's Chest, and I'm sure there are people who don't know what it is, or have forgotten a lot of what it includes. I know I have. So let's go through the Gambler's Chest's final list of contents, new bosses and systems, and see what we can expect. In 2016, the second Kingdom Death Kickstarter was launched, covering an enormous scope, including improvements to the existing Kingdom Death game, new expansions, and whole new systems. One part of the Kickstarter was the Gambler's Chest, an assortment of one-off narrative miniatures, promotional content, and even new enemy monsters that were added based on a kind of dice roll bingo. Over the course of the Kickstarter, more and more facets were added, and by the time the deadline was reached, it already represented easily the biggest single expansion to the game. Over the next 7 years of development, its scope only grew, racking up further new monsters and systems, and expanding much further on its original premise. Using the overview from the Kingdom Death news site and the Kickstarter updates, both linked in the description, let's have a look at the main categories that the final contents fit into. I think the best way to visualize the contents of the Gambler's Chest is using this graphic. It splits the box into these 9 main areas: narrative miniatures, the pattern system, the scout system, the encounter system, the wanderer system, new monsters, collective cognition and the philosophy system, and the Dreamkeeper campaign. Let's go through them in order and have a look at what they contain. First, there's an enormous swath of narrative miniatures. As it says here, they add an additional layer of storytelling in the world of Kingdom Death Monster, representing possible milestones in a campaign, teetering on the edge of greatness or great misfortune. There's a huge number of them, and they all represent different situations that might arise in a campaign, or different ways that a survivor might develop. For example, this popular guy with his White Lion katars, this clever strategist with her White Lion armor and spear referencing survivors that can disarm traps using their spear proficiency, the Axeman family who have passed down axe proficiency to their progeny, or the murderer who just brained your best survivor. I really love the variety of models, and I'll definitely be using these in every campaign. They're so evocative and instantly recognizable to people that have played many campaigns. Next, the pattern system. The pattern system has really emerged over many years in Kingdom Death, but this is its first earnest representation as a fully fledged system. As it says, pattern cards are recipes for gear that are not tethered to settlement locations. They represent moments of ingenuity and can be earned numerous ways. Pattern cards are earned through gameplay as survivors are struck by personal inspiration. They offer unique gear to be crafted and have challenging requirements to make. Beyond just resources, they also have extra requirements like a certain specialist, a certain disorder, or other factors within the settlement. For example, this rawhide bandana requires an endeavor and a dagger specialist, as well as a rawhide headband to create it. There are also negative patterns that expand the boundaries of the Kingdom Death universe and go into more experimental territory, like this hypersight visor that the promotional Sci-Fi Aya wears. There are all kinds of patterns, and I think they're going to make for some really unique survivor builds. The Scout system. This is one of the most mysterious but also most thematically interesting of the additions. It's an optional system that explores how survivors' gear returns to the settlement when they perish, and what might happen if that convenience wasn't available. As you can see here, they're incredibly cool looking models, and it looks like they'll have some really interesting story behind them too. They seem to come with this extremely adorable mini gear grid, and will be able to scout out monsters to give you more information about them. I love how they add flavour to the logistics of the settlement, and I'm really curious to see how they'll play. Next, the encounter system. It's an optional system that brings survivors face to face with monsters that hunt the survivors on their way to face the quarry. While revealing hunt events, you can trigger an encounter, prompting a mini showdown on a tiny extra board, and adding a whole set of extra complications to going hunting. The Wanderer system. This adds unique visitors with their own agendas to the settlement. If you assist them, they may join you on the hunt, bringing with them distinct abilities and gear. We don't know much about this system, but each Wanderer has its own booklet, with rules, story events, and potential rewards. New monsters. This is where the Gambler's Chest really becomes huge. There are 6 whole new monsters added to the game, both quarries and nemesis, some with their own campaigns. My absolute favourite is the Crimson Croc. He's just instantly iconic in Kingdom Deathy, and it looks like he'll have interesting new moves, traits, gear, and some of the most Monster Hunter looking weapons I've ever seen. This is a good opportunity to show off the new armor set survivors as well, with their more dynamic poses and swappable weapons. I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's also the super thematically interesting Smog Singers, which cause guilt and anguish when the survivors kill them, Atnus, the absolutely demonic and gigantic evil Santa Claus, and the long-awaited King, who seems to be a very late endgame boss, with some absolutely off-the-chain armor designs if you can kill him. Then of course there's the Gambler himself. Holding up this colossal ball of humanity, he comes with his own campaign, The People of the Dreamkeeper. Last but not least, there's the God Hand, the final battle of the Dreamkeeper campaign, about whom we know very little, but I look forward to being decapitated by him. It feels like that must be it, but actually there's still a lot more. The philosophy system looks like it will replace the Hunt XP and Age systems, adding branching trees of development towards different philosophies. Each philosophy adds a whole booklet of unique rules. Ark survivors will be able to discover or develop these philosophies, replacing fighting arts with character and knowledge decks. Knowledge cards have unique criteria, which allow you to advance them and unlock more advanced versions of themselves. If this card is any indication, the artwork will be absolutely incredible. I'm so interested to get into these and explore them more on the channel. The last point on the list is the Dreamkeeper campaign, a campaign that combines Ark survivors, philosophies, patterns, scouts, wanderers, encounters, and all 6 of the new monsters into one huge campaign. Comparing this with the original Kingdom Death People of the Lantern campaign, this really is like a Kingdom Death 2, with huge changes right from the very beginning. It's impossible to really grasp how all of these additions will change the game of Kingdom Death, and this list is probably not even close to exhaustive. Adam Poots, who leads Kingdom Death, has suggested there'll be even more surprises not even mentioned so far. The only way to know the full contents of the Gambler's Chest will be to receive it, open it up, and start playing through. And that's exactly what we'll be doing as soon as it gets here. I hope you'll join me then, and thank you for watching.